Hello folks, welcome. I'm just trying to make some space here on the table. I just wanted to show you what I'm doing. This is basically following on from that last clip I just did on drilling those bats. You know, when I mix up I put a lot of my, I think I showed you this the other day. Let me just bring the camera down there a bit so I don't have to lift it up because it's a bit heavy. That box. There you are. This is a cardboard box here where I empty out of my wheels the trimmings and the clay that is collected. Preferably while it's still dry. If it's trimmings, I get it out. If it's not trimmings, it's smashed old pots that I don't want or I don't like, students' work or whatever. And I put it, when it's all fairly dry, in a cardboard box. And I find in a cardboard box it's a convenient way just to store it. It doesn't do me any harm, it doesn't occupy bucket space. I haven't always got as many buckets as I want, neither do I expect you have. But cardboard boxes, well, we've always got enough cardboard boxes, so stick your dry clay for recycling in there. That's what I do. Just put it down back under there. But then I add it to water. Let's just bring the camera down here. I add the clay then to a bucket of water, and here in this bucket down here you can see now we have some clay that's been, I put some vinegar in here. Oh, it's growing a nice mould along the side here. I don't know if you can see that. Don't know if you can see there's that greeny colour there. That's a mould that's forming. So it should be, as I say, I put some vinegar with this, some apple cider vinegar, and mixed it in. Now it is, some people say, oh well, why is it important to mix the clay when it's dry? What does it matter? Well, it does matter, because you'll find that if you put water in a bucket and then add the dry clay to it and just leave it, it'll just slake down nicely. You haven't got to stir it or touch it, just leave it. If you're going to do the same thing with clay that was not properly dried out, say leather hard, you'd find it would take 3 times as long to slake down. So it's because the clay is dry, therefore it's more absorbent, and because it's absorbent, it's like one of these. It sucks the water in, and you find it breaks down more evenly than if you were to have some lumps of clay in there that were sort of leather hard consistency. You'd find that they would remain as hard lumps in the total mass of the clay when you came to it later on. So now this clay actually hasn't. Oh, it's getting a nice. Yeah, can you see that dark streak there? That's really smelling rich. So this now, what am I going to do with it now? You see, this is the next thing, and that's what I want to show you now. What I'm going to do with that exactly. So I'm just going to bring the camera back over here to the table. Let's just see now, maybe we can just get it a bit higher. A bit of extra height might help in this case. What I want to do for us is make one of these plaster bats. So now last time I did this, I said, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I mixed it up I did it on my table here where I work with clay. Now that's what you really ought not to do. you're going to need to go out and buy some plaster of Paris. I bought this in one of the large friendly hypermarkets that they have here in the US. And it cost me about $5. And this is the bag. So what we're going to do is get rid of that one box. I'm not going to mix it up on there, I'm going to mix it up over here. Because that plaster, you know, it's terrible stuff. You really want to make sure you don't get it anywhere near your clay. Which is what I did wrong. Still, you can learn from my mistakes. So I've got the quantity of water here, which is approximately the right amount. What I'm going to do is, we may have to make this 2 clips, but I don't know if you can see here, right in front of me, I've got this. In fact, it's a sheet of glass. If you have a nice sheet of glass like that, you see, you can. I tell you what's the good thing about that is, if you don't have a sheet of glass, it's very difficult to get it absolutely dead smooth, you know. So when you put the clay on it, when you come to clean it off here, if it's got like valleys and mountains, it isn't so good. But if you have this side, which is the side I use, absolutely flat, because I laid the plaster of Paris in a vat. I laid the plaster. What am I talking about? In a vat. God, dear. I laid the plaster of Paris within this frame on top of the glass. But before I do that, I'm going to get a piece of this. This is sort of fencing wire, and I'm going to cut it cortar con los alicates for my Spanish friends. So put that to one side. Now I've got a piece of this. Now what I need to make sure is it is absolutely flat, of course, because that is important that it lies flat. So take a little time to make sure that this is flat, because you don't want to lay this in the plaster and find a piece of wire is sticking out. Okay, that's quite important for obvious reasons. Okay. So when you're satisfied that it's, and you're not going to get it 100% flat, and there is a bit of tolerance there, because what we're going to do is we're going to mix up some plaster, which will be in the next clip. We're going to mix up the plaster. We're going to pour in some plaster about a ½ an inch. Alright, and then we're going to get this and we're just going to drop it into the plaster, and then we're going to pour more plaster on top and level it off as best we can. Okay, but I'm going to actually do that in the next clip, because we're already going to be going over time with this clip otherwise, I think. Alright, so Simon Leach saying, keep practicing. Sigue practicando. See you soon. Bye bye now.